Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Exciting game week for across all of the leagues that have been happening. We just as we record this, we just ended with the week with at Atalanta and Juventus. What a game! Adam won all. I was hoping Juventus might win that game so that Juventus leapfrog them into the fourth position. But good game, definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been a fascinating Serie A league this year, and yeah, I didn't expect maybe Juventus to come back into the title race, shall we say, or even in
Yeah,
contention for the top four. But yeah, fascinating match we saw just
yeah,
now, and Atalanta still showing everyone that they are the underdogs really when it comes to it. But
yeah.
yeah, I'd say on the balance of play for that match, Atalanta and Juventus probably deserved a share of the points because neither did enough really in that 90 minutes. But yeah, Juve will be kicking themselves, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more shooting practice for the likes of Vlahovic and Dybala over the next
Yeah,
coming few days because
yeah.
yeah, they missed a few chances in this match.
Yeah. I don't know what is it about us that every time we come out like we review our Serie A like on a monthly basis. Everything that we talk about is just opposite whatever's happening. We talked about the first time we talked about Napoli is like they're going to go unbeaten and they had a torrid time for the next couple of months, and then we talked about Inter, and now Inter's dropped points in the next couple of games. Obviously, the title race has definitely been now more interesting to watch now. With I think Milan now on top, even though Inter has a game in hand. But let's see, exciting times. In Serie A, definitely I would urge if anyone's not following Serie A, definitely follow Serie A this season. It's an exciting league this season for sure. But today we're not talking about Serie A. We're talking about the upcoming Champions League in the midweek. Exciting ties, definitely. Inter and the Real Madrid and the PSG game is definitely the biggest game of the entire group stage, entire round of 16 stages. We'll preview that, and then the Sporting versus City, Inter versus Liverpool, and then Salzburg versus Bayern Munich as well to wrap it up. But to talk about all this, we have Adam from the Hopeless Wanderer podcast and Uday from the Loudmouth Show. How you guys doing?
Yeah,
Hey,
keeping well, thank you.
yeah, we're doing well. Thank you for asking.
And I know like, we have an Inter fan and a Liverpool fan. Are you guys
Yeah,
excited about the game?
yeah, I'm pretty excited to face Inter, to be honest, because they have a pretty sturdy line, and we operate on a high line, and I'd like to see how they absorb the attack. And the transitioning will be interesting to see as well. The frequency of the game will be on a pretty high tempo.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's see what
I know.
happens.
Agree. Yeah.
And I think from
We,
an Inter perspective, we're kind of not anticipating too much to get to this stage has been, I suppose, if you reflect on the last few seasons, has been kind of an achievement in itself. But yeah, I think this season has surprised a lot of Inter fans, to be fair, around how we've played. And, considering we let the likes of Hakimi and Lukaku go last season, then obviously we've made strides, I think, in that sense. So, exciting season still to be had, and the fact that we're at this stage is, yeah, I think a great standpoint for Inter Milan.
Mhm.
So looking forward to this match definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Let's definitely get into into the details of it. But before we do that, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show. Give us that likes and follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well for all football news and FPL related news as well as we post on our social accounts. But let's start with the Inter versus Liverpool as we have the we have the fans for it. I think Inter and Liverpool should deliver one of the enjoyable and interesting matchups on Wednesday night. Like the other game that's happening is Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. But they are the two former European champions. They have a rich and colorful background. They're ready to start a battle on their own, like of their own now. Their respective offenses are loaded with talent, and they have a lot of quality. And then obviously, their the primary weapon in Liverpool is Mohamed Salah, obviously, and he's back from his Afcon. I shouldn't mention it. I think you guys definitely you guys must be he must be feeling definitely upset about that penalty shootout. He didn't even get the chance to get the chance to score. On the other end, we have Inter Milan. I think their attacking lineup is definitely good. We keep talking about Edin Dzeko, like how he's how he's doing at this point of his career, and he's doing really amazing things in this area. Short. Oh, sorry, in Inter Milan shirt. But Inter Milan, talking about Inter Milan, they have one loss, three draws, and six wins in the last 10 games. Definitely in the last two games, as we talked about, they lost against AC Milan, and I think they lost against. Sorry, they drew against Napoli yesterday.
Yeah.
But do you think like they have any chance against Liverpool? I seriously do think that they do possess some attacking talent, and some defensive structure as well to trouble Liverpool.
Mm.
The first leg is definitely uh, going to be important. And now that that away goal rule has been moved away, we can see all of these games to be really good attacking wise, because most of them, when the away side enters the home sides in the first leg, they're always very cautious before actually before they can start dominating the game.
No, yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating kind of match, I think, to be fair. So, from an Inter Milan perspective, obviously, we don't have Barella for this match as well. So, that's going to be a big miss. But that said, obviously, we expect Gagliardini to fill in his boots. I think the thing is, what you've got is two contrasting styles as well. So, it'll be very interesting from that point of view of seeing how Inzaghi adapts to this match, because the one thing I will say is I have been critical of Inzaghi this season, especially for these big matches. I mean, we only saw, like you said, the AC Milan match where I think he got found out again tactically. And that's the one downfall that I would say. And I think that's the one aspect that Klopp has over Simeone and Inzaghi, is that he has the tactical nous.
Yeah.
Obviously, forgetting about the players, it's just the fact that he knows what to do in those big game experiences and what to actually kind of achieve. So it's going to be very big or critical from an Inter Milan perspective to get something from the first results or first leg, should we say? So yeah, I I would love to see Inter Milan win this, but I think it's going to be a tough ask because I don't think Liverpool are going to be that straightforward. And with Salah back, obviously that will help them out. Mane is obviously in good form, having been really good on AFCON duties with Senegal as well. But yeah, I mean, you can't underestimate the threat that Liverpool have. I mean, beyond that, they've got decent players. I think the interesting thing will be the contrast in midfield. So Brozovic, for example, will be definitely trying to dictate here for Inter Milan, but Chanaloglu as well has had a very good season for Inter Milan, so
Yeah.
he's going to be a player to look out for. And Perisic as well, although he's a much older kind of talisman in that midfield, he'll be very vital in terms of getting crosses. I don't think Liverpool will underestimate him. It'll be interesting to see the sort of aspect of Trent Alexander-Arnold, what he will do in terms of will he be more attacking and exploit from a pace perspective, or will he be more defensive minded? That would be the interesting battle, I think, to watch out for. But that said, defensively, obviously Inter Milan are very strong as well this season, conceding the least amount of goals. So yeah, what I think viewers should be aware of is with Inter Milan's three that they have, so De Vrij, Skriniar, and Bastoni, they almost like to play the ball into a midfield area. So, for example, they'll act as midfielders, so pushing the midfield into the attacking third. So, this is going to be the interesting kind of matchup. Will Liverpool kind of try and counter that, or will they actually take the game on? So, that'll be the interesting bit. And then up front, as you've rightly called, Dzeko's had a really good season. Lautaro Martinez has been very hot and cold, I would say.
Yeah, he's been okay.
So this is a thing. On his day, can be absolutely world class, but on others, he can go missing. So it'll be very interesting to see from that point of view what we see. But Inter will be full of intensity. They'll definitely try and pile the ball into Liverpool's half. It's just going to be a question of, I think, who's going to absorb the pressure better. So
Yeah.
from that point of view, I think the first leg will tell us a lot about these two teams. But I don't think whatever the result happens at the San Siro is the end of. So regardless of whether Liverpool win or Inter Milan win, or even if it ends up in a draw, I think that won't be the end. Regardless, it'll go to the next game, to be fair, at Anfield. So, yeah, obviously, it's not ideal for Inter Milan in that circumstance if they lose. But at the same time, don't sort of say this is all over, because Inter Milan can play better away from home as well. So, very interesting to see how this match pans out.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a good point about like the Inter's midfield. I just have my prediction is that obviously Inter has a better midfield than Liverpool at the moment, and I think they can definitely dominate the game. But as we've seen, like in the group stages itself, like basically like and the entire Serie A sides were not good enough, and that's one of the reasons. Like most of them were second, and then AC Milan obviously dropped out of the Champions League as well. I just think like the team that dominates the midfield can win this game, and I feel like Inter have the midfield to dominate that game compared to Liverpool. But then but they compared to Liverpool, their main game plan would be just go attack, attack, attack. Right? That's
Mm.
how they play. That's how Jurgen Klopp plays, and that can trouble Inter Milan as well. Like not you can't say that it's not going to happen. The but what do you think about that, Uday?
But I think I don't know. I mean, it'll be a very tough battle in the middle of the pitch. Firstly, I would like to mention that the Inter's midline is pretty inept in terms of causing a lot of commotion in the middle of the ground. They can cause a lot of transitions in the game. So I'd be expecting somewhat similar to what I've seen of Atalanta and Liverpool. To be honest, I've been following a lot of Atalanta, the way they've been playing over the past couple of seasons. But I still feel Inter have a slight disadvantage in terms of facing Liverpool, because our high line allows us to fly in those long balls diagonally
Mm,
from Van Dijk or Matip. They go directly and in towards Salah or Mane or Jota, and the front three have been firing really hard this season. So I'm expecting Liverpool to maybe win or draw this match at least. We are not playing this match at Anfield, but on the other hand, yeah, I mean, looking at how I think Filippo Inzaghi is managing the club, and he already spoke about how tactically inept Klopp can be. But I wouldn't write off Inter like this. I don't think they lack any tactical ineptness to the game, but I would still say that okay, if you look at how slow they can be in terms of going in from a defensive to an attacking game, looking at how Fabinho, Thiago, and Henderson can be placed in the middle of the ground, that too will determine how Inter will play their game out, right? Liverpool like to stretch their outfield, their opposition's outfield pretty on a very high line as well. So I think they might just get caught off on an offside maybe, but they will definitely be a very high attacking threat in the most crucial stages, in the match. So I'm expecting it to be maybe a 1-1, 2-1 win for Liverpool. Yeah, I'm not expecting this to be a high scoring match, but yeah, the transitioning will be frequently changing. So
yeah, I mean, for me, it can be a high scoring game. I mean, for me, like it can be like a 3-2 victory for anyone, just because, as you mentioned, like even how interplay when they have the ball in the possession, I think all of the players are attacking. Lautaro and Dzeko are in the box to get those crosses or get those balls. Same thing with Liverpool. I think Liverpool themselves, we all know like how they play. It's all about getting pressing and full on attack mode. It can be an interesting, it can be an exciting. I think the most I'm excited about after the Real Madrid versus PSG game is this one, and I think I'm going to
yeah.
watch that on Wednesday night itself. Yeah. But talking about like what the predictions, like what do you guys think about predictions? At least just this game, not the overall leg, but let's just talk about this particular leg.
I think it'll be a draw. I don't think either side will take too much out of this game because although we're saying that both sides will probably go for it, I still feel that this is going to be very even results. And I just think they'll cancel each other out. And that will probably be more to Klopp's liking, to be fair. But yeah, at the same time, it could easily be a 1-0 win for like Liverpool. But I'm gonna be optimistic and say 1-1 on the night, and yeah, that'd be a good result. I think for both parties. To be fair, I think it opens it up for the second leg definitely. So from my point of view, 1-1, that'd be a good result.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think this also depends on how on the day, right? I mean, the work ethic and also the ball retrieval rate. How fast will they be able to stop the opposition from progressing ahead? I think it all depends on that, and that depends on the fitness that they have. So it can go either way around. As I said, it might be a draw 1-1, or Liverpool might win it 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going for a 2-all draw myself. I think it's going to be a good attacking display of football. That's what I'm looking for in this game. As a neutral, I just want a good game. I really don't care like who wins and who loses. Sorry, but yeah, I just want like I'm a neutral fan. Just thinking about yeah. Neither do I like Inter, neither do I like Liverpool. So yeah, I'm just hoping for a good game. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. I think all of our viewers must be looking forward to that as well. PSG versus Real Madrid. I guess like yeah, PSG and they enter the Tuesday night competitions. They're both looking forward to seeking advantage in the first leg of the last 16. If PSG signed Lionel Messi, Donnarumma, Hakimi, Wijnaldum, and Ramos. When you look at their attacking talent, when we thought like okay, Messi came in and we were like okay, every attack that they will go in, everything will just be a goal. It's just not been the case. Even if you look at the most recent game that concluded on Friday, 1-0 victory against Stade Rennes. They're not the most beautiful to watch at the moment. And if you look at their group stage campaign as well, they picked up 11 points from their 6 games, which is bad from a team like PSG with the talent that they have. I don't think Pochettino is doing a very good job. Then there can be numerous reasons for it. We're not going to discuss that, but I don't really think that Pochettino has been able to gel the entire team in there. To be honest, I really don't think PSG has any chance against Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are much more compact, and the way Ancelotti is playing them, I think they definitely nick out a victory in this first leg itself. But let's just continue with PSG, and what do you guys think about their game style, and how can they trouble Real Madrid?
Yeah, I'd say from my point of view, PSG haven't been spectacular. Like you rightly call out, they haven't been great. And there's an interesting stat I came across the last few days leading up to this pod, which was essentially PSG are 50% more likely to score goals towards the latter part of the match. So they're not very good starters of a match. And it's interesting when you look at the stats as well. Mbappe is the top in terms of goal scoring, top in terms of assists. Granted, Neymar has been injured at the moment, and ironically, he might actually be turning out against Real Madrid this Wednesday or Tuesday, isn't it? The match. But yeah, I would say personally, I think PSG have a chance in this first leg. Purely, and my only hypothesis for this is the fact that Benzema is still off at the moment. He's still injured and he's rated 50-50 for this match, and he's more likely to be in time for the second leg, to be fair. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the likes of Junior Vinicius to really be the talisman for their attacks. But that said, Real Madrid have been really more reliant in that midfield from the likes of Kroos and Modric, for example, and Casemiro to an extent as well. But yeah, obviously, I think the problem with PSG is you've got too many talented individuals and they haven't got that kind of work ethic as a team. And I think that's going to play a part in this. But that said, Pochettino is getting results. And I know a lot of people probably frown upon that because of the style of football. But yeah, I mean, Uday, what about you? What do you think about these two?
To be honest, since the time we've seen Pochettino take over PSG, I think they've been little on the other end. They've not been that fluid in terms of transitioning from an attack to a defense or vice versa. I would partially blame their midline, to be honest, because their midline, the players keep on rotating, they keep on changing. You see how Idrissa Gueye, they've got Ander Herrera, the likes of other players as well. I think apart from Marco Verratti, I don't see the other players being that consistent in that squad. And to be honest, they have focused and targeted Mbappe altogether. The entire game plan revolves around him. He's the only sole hybrid number 9 who's rushing ahead. You'll see Messi dropping into positions which we have never seen him dropping into at Barcelona. So I think he's pretty uncomfortable in that lineup too. Though he comes up with those word leads once in a while, but that doesn't justify the role that he's been assigned to this French team. Neymar, as you've already mentioned, he may or may not play. So
Yeah.
don't have big expectations from them. But on the other hand, we've seen that Real Madrid can also bottle up in crucial stages in the competition. So I wouldn't really write PSG off. Looking at how they perform
Mm.
against um, the pseudo giants such as Manchester United as well. I mean, yeah, I think both
You don't need to give a smirk about whenever you talk about United.
I think both teams have an equal chance of winning this game as well. So I would actually go in for a 3-1 Real Madrid win. Looking at how um, well they play in terms of they have got Toni Kroos, they've got Luka Modric, and other midfielders who like balancing the play out. They again play a possession based model. Ancelotti has developed again. His plans have worked out well with Real Madrid. So yeah, no complaints there, and I'm expecting Real Madrid to win this game 3-1. Um,
Mm. I
Yeah.
think the other
I
thing
mean,
that might play a part, sorry, is the fixture list as well. So prior to the second leg, PSG are away at Nice, whereas Real Madrid's games are fairly straightforward
yeah.
in comparison. So I think that might play a part, and this is why I think PSG are going to have a lot more pressure to make sure they make the first leg really count as well. So yeah, I think the pressure will be on them to get a result on the night.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that when when we entered the group stage, and I think there we kind of reviewed the group stage on our channel as well. We were thinking like, okay, maybe another couple of months, PSG will start clicking, Messi will be more involved in the game. It just doesn't look like it. It's still the same old PSG since when they started with Messi. It's just not clicking for them, and I just feel like Perez is just basically going to be on the stands when they lose in March, and there'll be the contract where Mbappe will be signing for Real Madrid. I think it just might be the case. I think he obviously this tie that happened in the champion this draw that happened in the Champions League, obviously I think has definitely delayed his contract sign for Real Madrid in the January transfer window. I think otherwise it would have definitely happened. I don't think they want any kind of hoopla when this tie is being played in February and March. But I just feel like, again, as I talked about in the previous matchup as well, like I think Real Madrid have a much more like proper have a much more better midfield. I think that they dominated, and then if you look at the attack as well, like the combination with or the partnership with Vinny and Benzema, I think they've been doing really really great things. Even though it has slowed down a little bit after they come back from the winter break. But before the winter break, if you look at it, man, it was all Vinny and Benzema. So and Benzema has definitely been playing at a really high level. If you look at his game style.
Definitely.
Yeah. But what are you guys predicting? I know like Uday said 3-1. What do you guys think? What do you think, Adam?
Uh, I think it might be one that I will go with PSG, just purely because I think they will be pressured to make sure they get a result. I think they've got players on the day that can really make it a match winner as well. So I'm going to go 2-1 for PSG, purely because Messi at this stage as well, he comes out, but he also has a better record in the Champions League. So I fancy him to score a goal against Real Madrid. And yeah, I could easily see Neymar even turning out and potentially scoring if he is fit enough. But yeah, I think Real Madrid potentially might score first in this actual game. So yeah, I think it'll be just a 2-1 win for PSG. Sorry.
Who's
Um,
who's predicting a fight between Ramos and his peers at Madrid?
I think he won't even get an opportunity to play, to be honest.
no,
Huh?
I
yeah,
don't think
I
he'll
don't
get
think
an
he'll
opportunity
play.
to play. He might not play.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I,
Yeah,
I think I think he'll play. I think definitely. I think it's a big game. I think he'll play definitely.
I think they've got other centre halves, right? Kimpembe and
Kimpembe,
Marquinhos
yeah,
Marquinhos, yeah.
keeps on
yeah,
shifting from a
Yeah,
defensive mid to
he and he's not definitely been good. Like if you look at PSG's games, he's definitely not dominated games like he used to. Like in Madrid, if you look at it, yeah, it's
he
been
was
shaky,
injured
and
for
he's
I
already
think
got
almost
his.
half the season, so I think he didn't really get an
Yeah,
opportunity to start
yeah.
making.
But when he did, I think when he did, even I think in the first when he came back in December or November, and then the next 4 games he got a red card, which he obviously he's famous for getting all these red cards.
Yeah,
Anyways. I feel like it's going to be a 3-1 victory. As Uday said, for Real Madrid, I think easily they win that game. Yeah.
No,
Right.
fair enough.
Yeah. Let's talk about Pep and his city team. There will be I know everyone knows that Pep wants to win his coveted Champions League after almost more than a decade now, and the first with Man City. Always comes up, always bottles it. I think always overthinks it when he's playing the biggest games on the midweek or in the finals. If you think, yeah, I think when City's lineup came out against Chelsea, we were live on the channel and we said it. Yeah, they're not going to win because for some reason he thought that, yeah, we don't need a CDM in Fernandinho, and we still win the game. So, but I think there'll be still. I think they're still heavy favorites in that game as usual. They've been given an easy draw in the round of 16 as well. If you look at Sporting Lisbon, yeah, I think they're in the last 16 stages for the first time since 2008 and 9 campaign, where they incredibly lost to Bayern Munich 12-1 on aggregate. I don't think 12-1 is going to be an aggregate this time, but there's no question that City are definitely favorites and they can easily win this for 5 or 6-0 definitely. If you I don't know how many of you guys actually looked at Sporting Lisbon's last game on Friday against Porto, which was a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
They had 5 red cards shown in that
Yeah, it's a
chaotic
crazy
contest.
match.
It's a crazy game. But what do you think about Sporting Lisbon? I think Ruben Amorim, who's the coach of that team, he's been doing good things.
Mm,
That's why they were the Portuguese champions last season as well, and they're top of the league as well this season. They started the campaign against Ajax, and I think they lost 3-0 or something. And I really felt, oh, okay, this is one of those teams.
mm,
Yeah, they might not be able to do that because we obviously thought, Erling Haaland and Dortmund were definitely going to be the ones who were going to be, giving the fight for that second
mm,
spot or the top spot. Haaland is definitely going to play in the Europa League this season, which we're excited about, not excited about. But what do you think about Sporting Lisbon? Do they have any chance in the first leg itself? I think the first leg is very important to that team, to make sure of any contest in that return leg at the Etihad.
Yeah, I'd say for a first leg, they need to get a result here. Purely because if they stand a chance of progressing, they need to at least win and probably quite handsomely, I would say. Purely because the quality of Man City, they can turn it on, and it's not just the players at the top end of the pitch; it's also those at the back as well that can contribute, like the likes of Cancelo as well, for example. But yeah, I'd say don't underwrite, Sporting Lisbon. They've got some talented players. We did the preview for that group stage, if you remember, Ishbar,
Yeah,
and I spoke about Pedro Goncalves. He's had a very good season again, building on from last season. Paulinho, who Amorim brought from his previous club, has done pretty well, I would say. They've got a player by the name of Sabria as well, who's contributed a few goals as well. So they've got,
Coates as well.
got some decent players. But yeah, this is the thing. It's going to be down to this first leg, I think, because realistically, I don't know if they would get a result at the Etihad. But yeah, if they can go away with a 2-0 win or something like that, then they're laughing, really. But I think it will be a question of how defensive they go as well in this match. Do they counterattack? Obviously, we saw a bit of maybe what is to be expected from that match against Porto. And obviously, that's a top 2 match that we saw on Friday night. So yeah, you expected it to be feisty anyway. But
Yeah,
yeah, certainly from that point of view, Amorim will probably be going there with intent to at least try and get a result. And yeah, it's just going to be a question of how does Pep play it as well. Does he
yeah,
go all offensive in this first leg to try and kill off the whole tie? But yeah, I could see, Man City going about the business by controlling that midfield. And, maybe not necessarily being the focal point when it comes to attacks, but certainly trying to make sure that they get to the second balls, because I think if you let Sporting have the second ball, for example, then they're more likely to create damage to you as well. So yeah, I think the thing is City have been so consistent. That's the problem, and you struggle to find a weakness at the moment. I know we've talked about up top that they haven't got a recognised striker, for example, apart from Gabriel Jesus, but it doesn't
Who
seem
plays
to
on the
have.
wing?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have caused them any issues. And to be fair, if Pep could have it his way, he'd probably have another midfielder up top as well. So it's all about controlling the game from his
Yeah.
point of view, anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like, yeah, I think Sporting Lisbon are definitely going to give some trouble. If you, I mean, if I rewind back a week ago when they were playing against Southampton, and they had a 1-1 draw that weekend. I think you can definitely see there are issues, but obviously not a lot. I think, as you correctly
Mm.
pointed out, Adam, I think they've been very consistent throughout the campaign, right? They again, they started a little bit slowly, but then obviously their run of games where they just nick out victories and keep scoring. That's one of, yeah, that's one of the, things about Pep, the consistency that he brings.
Mm.
You and I think that there's not going to be any surprise with Sporting Lisbon's formation. It's going to be a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
Paulinho is going to be on the tip of the attack. Paulinho is definitely going to return, and then I think you've got to mention Quartes as well. He's going to be
Centre
a
back.
part of the back three. Yeah, he's going to be a part of that back three.
Mm.
But talking a little bit about City as well, like you might have some uh,
Look, I can just throw in
thoughts on that as well. Yeah.
I can just throw in a couple of facts about the game. So what I know is that Sporting lost pretty horrendously to Bayern back in '08. I think it was a 13-1 or 14-1 loss.
Yeah,
On
that's what I mentioned, like 12-1 aggregate loss that they had against Bayern Munich. Yeah.
Right. So looking at that, I think overall we can't really compare what happened in that time, but they're not even. I wouldn't consider them to be serious underdogs in the competition. I think they'd be oosting out of the competition in the round of 16.
Hmm.
Um, I'm expecting Manchester City to win this very easily. Again, you already have spoken about how this season Gabriel Jesus is being deployed at the wings, operating as a very high hybrid forward. He and Bernardo Silva, as usual, is having a free role. We see less of Kevin De Bruyne being playing ahead now this season. So yeah, I think they're pretty sorted in terms of knowing which attackers are supposed to be deployed in starting 11, and in terms of their solidification in the Champions League, I think City are the favorites to win the Champions League this time again. I wouldn't write them off like that, and I don't think this time Pep would make any mistake in terms of going in with a different formation um, in one leg and just bottling it all up. I think that was a one-off, and I don't think they would make that same mistake again. So I think we should consider City to win this pretty easily. I think they would want to
Yeah.
secure this in the first leg itself because they've
Yeah.
got stiff competition coming in from the league, with Liverpool chasing their ass behind in the other league matches. So they'd want to write this off in the first leg itself, and they might just play other B team in the second leg.
Yeah, and I think you pointed out a good point about City, and this is what I've been thinking about for last month as well. The consistency in the lineup that Pep's got in this season. I looked at previous seasons, and there's been a lot of changes every other game where he used to play, and now if you look at it, it's more like at least 5 or 6 players are nailed down every game. Like they're going to play. Apart from, obviously, we knew like against Norwich he was going to drop some players because of the Champions League game. But in the Premier League itself, like he's nailed down starters. Like he knows like which are the players that are going to start. Like you look at Diaz, Laporte, Ederson, obviously in back of the goal. Cancelo's not as Cancelo has been like playing almost every other game. De Bruyne has now started to play almost every other game. So he knows that these are the players that he needs to play in week in, week out, to make sure that consistency is there, and yeah, consistency is there in the lineups itself. Because I don't think there's like a lot of gelling, because you always like keep on rotating the lineups, and I just feel like that played into the opponent's hands, because obviously there was no gelling when you look at City's lineups. Obviously they have a great squad depth, but the consistency in the lineups definitely needs to be there,
But
which I'm
are we
seeing
not
this
going
season.
to be talking about the red side of Manchester? Because I'm willing to take a few jives at the club that you support.
We are not talking about Manchester United this week. Definitely next week, when it comes around. But yeah, I'm sick and tired of watching games itself. So yeah, that's the only thing that you will get from this podcast from the red side of Manchester.
Right.
But but what are your predictions for the games? Let's start with you there.
4-0, 5-0 City.
4-0? No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm going for an edgy win for City. I think maybe a 2-1 victory.
I will go for 2-0 City. I think it's going to be a foregone conclusion, and they'll just take it to the second leg where they'll score more goals.
Yeah, yeah. All right. The last preview that we had for this week was Salzburg against Bayern Munich. Again, it's you can say that it's a foregone conclusion already before even they play the tie. I think easily Bayern win. 6-7-2 maybe on aggregate or something like that. But you look at Bayern's last two games, they've lost. They've lost against Freiburg, and I think who did they lose? I think they lost
It's
against Bochum.
Bochum
Bochum, yeah.
4-1, 4-2 even. Sorry.
4-2, yeah. So yeah, Lewandowski scored the two goals against Bochum on the weekend. But man, yeah, it's definitely they have a good solid lead in the Bundesliga, so definitely not to worry about anything to worry about over there. But yeah, another game that they lose or drop points, definitely Bundesliga might become a little bit more interesting than what it is right now. But Salzburg definitely impressed me. When they played when they played in the group stages. Man, knocking down Sevilla into the Europa League. I think they already had some talks before the game, like, hey, you're never going to win the Champions League. You're anyways going to win the Europa League, so might as well just drop down before we play in the Champions League itself. Um, but what do you think about Bayern Munich? I think great squad. We all know. Not a good squad depth, but the starting 11 definitely starts. Week in week out. They have a good chemistry in their team. Salzburg should give them some problems, and maybe this is um, this is a test for Adeyemi as well, because there were some rumors about like him coming to Bayern Munich when Lewandowski leaves. I was reading a rumor before, like, a couple of days before as well. Lewandowski wants to move to Real Madrid for that last stint as in the big club for Lewandowski. So might as well this might be a test for him, for Adeyemi as well.
Yeah, Adeyemi obviously used to be at Bayern Munich, so as a
Yeah.
young player, so obviously good chance. I mean, there's been a lot of noise in Germany about bringing him back, so I know Bayern were very keen to bring him back prior to even the talk that took place during this recent few months. But yeah, obviously, if we're talking about Salzburg, there's also Aronson, who's been doing really well down there, the American. So he'll be on the cusp of potentially being in the Bundesliga maybe next season or season after. But also, I think there's a good Frenchman at the moment by the name of Solet. He's a centre back and doing quite well there as well. So Salzburg are the feeder club, obviously, to RB Leipzig, etc. Talented team, I'd say. And one of the things we said in our preview back when the group stages took place was, did we feel that they would play as a team or as individuals? And they showed in the group stages they actually do quite well. And
Yeah.
they even won away from home, which I kind of said was going to be critical for them, because we said, at home, they'll probably win their fair share of games, but it's away from home that they need to also make it count. So they've done really well to get to this stage. As you say, Bayern Munich will be the favourites, but the other point is Musiala is currently out with COVID. So that depletes their midfield as well a little bit, but you would expect with the quality that Bayern Munich have in that team, they should have enough over the two legs. The likes of Muller, for example, Gnabry. I just think they've got too much quality for this Salzburg team compared to the group stages where obviously Salzburg had the likes of Lille and obviously Wolfsburg as well. I just think Bayern Munich is that kind of grade above them. I expect them to really lose in this first leg, and I think they'll lose again in Munich, should I say. So, it's there is a chance for Salzburg, but I just think there's too much quality in this Bayern Munich squad to really do it. And I think Nagelsmann will definitely kind of target, let's get the leg finished in the first leg. I think he wants it kind of cemented so that they don't have to worry about it, and then they can worry about their league process as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons in the league, like having lost the last couple of games as well, like there's the defensive issues that we've obviously talked about Adam before as well, right? I'm not really happy with what Bayern does in terms of defense, and that's what happens. Like when the attack doesn't click, this is what happens to them. Because they're so bad defensively. But Bayern Munich were also going to be without their fullback Alfonso Davies and
Yeah.
Manuel Neuer, and then Leon Goretzka as well. There are doubts over the
Mhm.
availability of Jamal Musiala as well. So we'll see, like what kind of lineup he pushes in. What's his name? Julian Nagelsmann. But I think, yeah, as you said, I don't see any still issues with Bayern progressing to the game, progressing to the quarterfinals, and hopefully, all these players can come back by that time, because obviously quarterfinals will definitely be much more tougher than what they've got in round of 16. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Uday, what do you think about that?
To be honest, I don't have any much comments to make here because I am sure we all know that Bayern might just win this one. But I'd just like to talk a bit about the philosophy that he's already resonated about Red Bull. I think they play without any fear. The club directorate have already given the guidelines that they don't need to worry about the finances that they be bringing in. And Salzburg have been a bit erratic in terms of giving strange competition to teams in the past as well. So I think I wouldn't really write them off, but yeah, I think obviously Bayern are supposed to win this, but they might just nick in a goal or two. You never know. Looking at how Bayern's form has been over the past couple of games, um, losing to a side which just got promoted is sort of a question mark on Julian Nagelsmann caliber and credibility. I saw traces of the game. I think Upamecano is just overrated. I feel he
Yeah.
individually, if you see his performance, it was symbolic.
Mhm.
You look at Benjamin Pavard. Pavard was trying to do his best, but again, he wasn't getting the support from the right center half. Defensively, they were in shambles. But if you look at the offenses, I think Mueller does bring a lot of maturity and sturdiness to the game. Sane again, I wouldn't understand why would you deploy him in the center of the pitch. And okay, he knows how to play as an outward winger, but if I look at him consolidating plays in the mid, I don't understand where that comes in from. Um, uh, Kimmich in the defensive mid position has been brilliant for them over the past couple of seasons, but it depends on the support that he's getting. Again, picking Luca Hernandez over a heart-stricken Alfonso Davies, who's been struck with COVID and a couple of other heart symptoms, is something which is sad. But yeah, he's filling in the ranks, and I think he's doing a pretty good, decent job at the fullback position. So all in all, I think Bayern Munich are a good, strong team, and we should be looking forward to the quarters and the semis than this round of 16 because I think they're facing a pretty easy opponent.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it should be an easier tie, but yeah, the last two games that they've dropped points in, I just feel like that, but there might be some surprises in that round of 16 as well, because I'm not really just counting Salzburg out of the competition. I think they
Yeah.
might possess some competition to Bayern Munich as well. But yeah, obviously the last two games that they've lost, it might their minds will be now focused to win that game on easily, so that they can definitely, as you said, like they can drop their players in the second leg if they easily win the first leg. I'm going for I think I'm going for a 3-1, like, but also the last couple of goals I'm thinking like will come on the later stages of the game for Bayern Munich. I think the game remains pretty much even throughout the game for that particular fixture. But what do you guys think? Sorry.
I think I'd go in with a 2-1 or a 3-1 Bayern win. I wouldn't want to predict this. I think we have already made a mark that Bayern City are going to definitely win their fixtures. So, Adam, what about you? What do you think?
I'm
And you said,
thinking, yeah, I was going to say I'm thinking 3 or 4-0 for Bayern. I know that sounds really critical, but yeah, I think the quality of the likes of Lewandowski, Muller,
yeah,
Gnabry on his day. I know we've discounted Sane, by his performance against Bochum, but no, I think Sane, even on his day, can be a game winner as well. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think there's
yeah,
going to be so many chances created for likes of Lewandowski, etc., that this could be a mauling. So unfortunately, sorry,
yeah,
Salzburg. I hope
yeah.
it's wrong, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's
No,
going
I
to be a
mean, if
mauling.
and even if you rewind back to the group stage itself, like I feel like Benfica were, even though and also obviously they did qualify, for the round of 16. I just feel like Benfica were definitely the second best team in that
Yeah.
in that group. And if you look at I think it happened in Benfica when they played, and this Bayern still were able to win 4-0, but that game was definitely like really good. I watched
Mm.
that game, and it was really good attacking football from both sides, and their defense was also good. But obviously Bayern having that quality, that extra quality that they possess always, they were able to nick those goals, and obviously to get back into the game, Benfica pushed players forward, and then obviously in the last couple of last 5 minutes, I think they scored that last couple of goals. So definitely the the score says 4-0, but that game itself was really entertaining, and that's what I'm just feeling about this game itself. I
Mm.
think the game will be entertaining, but eventually, like Bayern being Bayern, and they have their qualities in their team, and they should be able to win that easily.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think that's about it for this weekend fixtures. Join us next weekend for the other round of 16 fixtures, where we'll be previewing Man United versus Atletico, who are going to win 6-0, 7-0. I think Codes definitely called it. Never mind, just a joke. But yeah, I really hope that, yeah,
I'll give my
there
prognosis
is.
for the Red Devils next week.
I Yeah, I really hope like that's a good game. But yeah, we'll talk about that next weekend. But there's a good couple of games coming next week as well from the Champions League itself. But I'd like to thank Adam and Uday for coming on the show, and providing your thoughts and predictions on this upcoming week's Champions League.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Right. Awesome. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well for all kinds of football news that we keep posting. And I think we'll see you in the next couple of days with some more videos. So thank you and good night.
Take care.